Thursday, June the 15th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the crucial tourism sector has been exempted from the imposition of the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy, which was announced in government's recent budgetary fiscal measures. Outgoing chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Roseanne Myers, told its annual general meeting at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center last evening that the assurance was given to them during recent discussions yesterday with Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair. Myers said Minister Sinclair informed them that the contentious levy will not apply to tourism-related companies which are currently covered by the Tourism Development Act, or TDA. The TDA significantly expands incentives for investment in the tourism and hospitality sector in Barbados beyond the traditional accommodations sector.
We've been in contact actually up to today with Minister Sinclair, who has fairly much confirmed that the mechanism for accessing the duty-free status under the TDA will also be the umbrella legislation for accessing your NSRL exemption. The duty-free letter that we now use is actually already updated, I'm told by Director Bob Knight, that the letter now says free of VAT duties and NSRL. So if you are bringing in anything under the TDA legislation, then make sure that the letter that you're submitting to Customs is updated and says free of NSRL, the National Social Responsibility Levy. There's several questions then also still to be answered. What about the other items if tourism is exempt? What about the other items that are not necessarily coming under the TDA? What about the pieces of legislation like the TDAA, which is for food and beverage items? What about the items, what about the companies that are registered under the Shipping Incentives Act? And hark for those companies who are getting no duty-free concessions under any legislation.
Myers also announced that government has approved dozens more duty-free items for the hotel sector.
He has indicated that the 49 additional food and beverage items, duty-free, that we've made application for, they have all been approved, and we should get the paperwork and get them out into the sector as soon as possible. So there's some background work to be done there, but at least they're approved. The full list of food and beverage items, we still have not completed adding all of those. We have made some headway, but we are very cognizant of the fact that we have the standalone restaurants in a disadvantageous position because they are not yet accessing the items under the TDA for food and beverage. And that is not a fight that we are going to stop.
In delivering his report, Chief Executive Officer of the BHTA, Rudy Grant, disclosed that a 6.7% increase in arrivals for Barbados from January to December last year and an 8.4% rise for the first 4 months of this year. However, Grant noted that these increases are not reflected favorably in the local hotel occupancy rates.
The SDR reports for the period of 2016 reflect a decline of 0.1% in occupancy for members of the BHTA. And it also reflects an increase of 0.9% for the first 4 months of 2017. We also, through the SDR report, recognize a 1% increase in ADR for 2016 and a 0.3% decline in ADR for the first 4 months of 2017.
Don't rule out seeking help from the International Monetary Fund to save the ailing Barbados economy. That's the advice of 2 independent senators who suggest the country has nothing to lose. Speaking during yesterday's sitting of the Senate, Senator John Watson said the island needed to urgently consolidate its debt and the IMF had the solution. Professor Sir Henry Fraser endorsed Watson's view and stressed that Barbados has nothing to fear.
We've had a lot of discussion about the IMF. And there's a myth and a belief still prevalent that the IMF's behavior 30 years ago, when they forced countries like Guyana and Jamaica to devalue their currency, is the way the IMF operates today. We are reliably told that that is not the case. We've had ongoing dialogue with the IMF, and as Senator Watson so ably pointed out, there is no possibility of any loans with lower interest rates than the IMF. So it is better to practice prevention rather than to get into a desperate situation where we are forced to devalue, because as Dr. Watson said, and it's a no-brainer, we must never devalue our dollar. Devaluing our dollar is, as for Jamaica and Guyana, the beginning of the end. So this is something we must not do.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya.
Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl. You know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the vendor for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shiny. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now. The ballooning murder figures in Jamaica have prompted the Jamaica Police Commissioner George Quayle to announce a plan to tackle the crime wave that has been spiraling across the country.
His first press conference since taking office, Commissioner of Police George Quayle was expected to give some amount of reassurance following concerns about a 19% increase in the number of murders over last year. With the most recent multiple murder happening Tuesday morning, the immediate response, he says, will be a greater reliance on the Special Powers Provision Act.
This will allow for cordon and search, curfews and detention for preventative and investigative purposes. I am aware that some of these strategies will inconvenience citizens, but in the interest of safety and security, I crave your patience and understanding.
And on the global front, the flames may have died down following the West London fire that destroyed a 24-story apartment building, but the anger of residents has now flared up. Those who had once warned of such a catastrophe gazed towards the smoke endlessly billowing from Grenfell Tower.
The whole block was engulfed in flames. It was just a horrendous sight.
We ain't got no house insurance, we've got to start from scratch again.
A lot of people have come together. We'll get each other through this.
It was like it was covered in petrol. It was just going quick. By the time we got out of the flat and was looking at it, it was just up in minutes.
I can hear people screaming, "Help me, my baby, help me."
By the time we came down, the whole building was just covered in fire. I was just so shocked.
It's one of my friends. The problem is, he says they lost everything.
We had jewellery in there, money in there, no phones. We just had to get out of the house. We had no time to pick nothing up.
And I thought it was a dream, and I was shocked. Everyone was just angry.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as the Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.